Okay.
Cool. So we're group two, and our SDGs are 2, 10, and 16. And here's a presentation on them. Slide. For our SDGs, we're focusing only on 2, 10, and 16. However, we do have a general focus on all of the SDGs since they are very important sustainable goals set by the UN. Um, and also for our SDGs, we're only focusing on Albuquerque, New Mexico, since that's more local to where we're actually physically and geographically based. And we're trying to understand the importance of engineering for a local community and local community progress as well as local community well-being, because helping our local community is the best course of action so far instead of trying to help the entire world at once. So for SDG 2, that's going to be zero hunger. That aims to achieve zero hunger, and that is basically what the name implies. I mean, no one goes hungry anymore. So what's being done right now, the Roadrunner Food Bank of New Mexico is a great resource for trying to achieve zero hunger in the community. They're a food bank and they offer food assistance for anyone in need. New Mexico also has a program called SNAP, and that helps people apply for various forms of assistance, including food support. However, since this is sponsored and done by yes.state.unm, or .nm. This also includes stuff like health benefits or electricity benefits, all kinds of benefits. So that is another really great local resource that you can use in order to, you know, get assistance, or even if you want to volunteer there and try to help out the community that way. And the third one is the Albuquerque Food and Agriculture Action Plan. This was signed into this was proposed legislation a while ago, and it was signed by the governor a while ago. And essentially, what this is saying is, this is giving quite a lot of money to a lot of food banks as well as other NGOs and organizations that help out with food and food scarcity issues. Slide. So, what's wrong and what can we still do? Around 14% of New Mexico residents experienced food insecurity in 2019. This number has only gone up due to COVID and the pandemic. So we're still facing quite a large percentage of the population who are going hungry every night. And also, at least 90% of the food is being imported from other states, meaning less than 10% is actually being grown locally. So we actually do need a lot of infrastructure help in order to either start growing more food locally or to help import more food from other states. Um, and groups who are currently funding and supporting local farmers, you can see the Albuquerque Journal right there. There are multiple groups that are currently doing this, which is really nice in order to help sustain us locally as a community so we can increase that 10% to something more realistic that would provide for more locally grown food. And since it's locally grown, it would be cheaper and more accessible to more people, thus reducing hunger. Also, another Albuquerque Journal link. The From the Food, Farm, and Hunger Initiative, $5.9 million has been directly put into food funds assistance, and also a lot of other legislators and as well as NGOs and local organizations and people who do activism locally have been continuing to push legislators to sign more of these kinds of bills. You can also help uh, do this through voting and just being active in your own community. And honestly, this is one of the biggest ways to help out the community and achieve zero hunger in New Mexico and Albuquerque. Slide.
All
Nico.
right, so I'm going to be talking about SDG 10. This is aimed to reduce inequalities. This development goal aims to reduce inequalities based on race, ethnicity, origin, religion, economic status, or any other status. It also addresses inequalities among countries, including those related to representation, migration, and development assistance. So a couple of organizations that work towards this are, one is NM Voices. It works to promote equity for children, families, and communities here in New Mexico. Another is the New Mexico Department of Health, Office, and Equity. And this one seeks to acknowledge race and gender inequalities in our communities here. Slide. So here's a kind of a chart showing some of the statistics here in New Mexico. Over here on the right, you see that New Mexico has the highest income inequality in the nation, which is not very good. And then down at the bottom, you can see the differences in incomes between the richest, the middle class, and the poor class. So this next one, oh, you're good. Office of Equity and Inclusion. This is an office here in Albuquerque, and it provides resources for immigrants and multicultural citizens in order to help them with any inequalities that they might face here. And we still have a lot of inequalities here in New Mexico, so this is one of the good organizations working towards that. Slide. And also here's some more statistics just showing you immigration. So in 2018, 198,000 immigrants came to New Mexico. It was home to 92,000 women, 95,000 men, and 10,000 children who are immigrants. And 214 people in New Mexico, about 11% of the population were born to native-born Americans who had at least one immigrant parent. So this issue, as you can see, is a pretty big issue here in New Mexico. Slide.
Cool. SDG. Wait, my face isn't popping up. The video. I'll just do that. SDG 16, Peace, Justice, and Strong Institution. It just aims to promote peaceful, inclusive societies for sustainable development. It aims to have justice for everybody, so nobody's treated unfair, and it hopes for strong institutions, so education doesn't fall not only education, but like justice courts focus on providing everybody's treated equally. Yeah, it's just as the name says, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Yeah, it's here to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development and just access to justice for everybody. So whether they're poor or not, they can get the justice they need. Yeah, these are all sources that you could use. The Albuquerque peaceandjustice.org. The last one, University of New Mexico ranking, is just for the education department, which I feel fits into the institution part of this SDG. And then there is a nice website here that reports the local corruption that the justice system is facing, not just in the US, but here in Albuquerque, where justice isn't being served properly. These are some PDF slides I found that were greatly related to Albuquerque in general, where during COVID, it shows the spike related to crime, and there's a huge increase in robbery, and the biggest increase that happened is actually murder over the years, especially in 2020, 2021. It's been the highest recorded crime reported, and the main reason is for these crimes trending upwards is COVID. Being trapped in their houses not helping anybody. This year, 2022, APD is on pace for matching the records from 2021. Yeah, there are plenty of stuff plenty of organizations trying to address these issues from the inside out, including, and in order to do that, they are trying to improve law enforcement recruitment and training so that they can keep on top of this. They're trying to provide 24/7 electronic monitoring so that they're doing a pre-trial for this, but this is basically just if anybody needs help, it's on they can get it on the spot. And they're trying to provide grant programs, basically more money to the institutions so that they have the funds in order to reduce crime and violence, and then more funds for healthcare as well. These are some more slides showing the incarceration rate in New Mexico just going up over the years. Both jail and prison incarceration are just high, and it doesn't seem like it's going down anytime soon. Yeah, this slide down here shows how many New Mexico residents are like incarcerated. It's like in which local jails. 83,000, around 83,000 are in local jails. State prisons are 7,000. Federal prisons are 2,100, and then youth and involuntary commitment acts are just on the low. But the source here is also a good thing to use in order to figure out just like the incarceration rate of what New Mexico has to deal with. And lastly, our approach and methodology for these SDGs were basically general funding for all of these SDGs can just be counted from our current state taxes. If you just fund all in order to make sure all these SDGs can be completed, just like take some money from our state taxes. And maybe if the FBI assists in the major actions for like corruption, this could also prevent for SDG 16. This could also be a big help. The main focus for all of these is just to move away from poverty, and then to increase peace and social programs in dense crime areas is to like make the crime go down. Maybe like put in some organizations to make sure like crime is bad and like enforce that policy so that nobody goes into crime. And the change mainly should come from institution and larger entities, meaning they should be pushing towards like less inequality, less crime, and more food for people, so that all of this can be solved because they have the main power. And the main problem for all of this is just money. So if all of these SDGs just get funded properly, we could probably just resolve most of our issues. And that is it. So yeah, that's it.